Tonight on News 3 New Mexico, the Balloon Fiesta is expected to return this year.
And will the wind blow you away? Find out in my full weather forecast.
And we've got the highlights from the quarterfinal matchup between Texaco and Estancia. New Mexico starts right now.
It's News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Landry Sena. The city of Portales announced that the city manager, Sammy Standifer, announced his retirement, which will go into place May 28th of this year. Standifer has been the city manager since 2015 and has worked with the city close to 29 years. Standifer began his full-time career with the city in September of 1992, mowing at the Portales Cemetery and in the city parks. Since this, he has served as planning and zoning director and city building inspector. Mayor Ron Jackson will name a search committee in the near future. On Monday, an officer-involved shooting occurred in Santa Rosa. Officers attempted to serve an arrest warrant to Robert Lee Chavez for receiving stolen property, extortion, and bribery of a witness, all in connection to a stolen John Deere tractor. Because of Chavez's extensive violent criminal history, the New Mexico State Police tactical team was called to assist serving the warrant at the residence. When asked to surrender, Chavez refused and threw an object at officers that exploded. Chavez had another device in his hand, and at that point, an officer fired at least one round at Chavez. Chavez then ran into a neighbor's home where he eventually surrendered to officers and was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. This case is still under investigation. The New Mexico Department of Health will soon begin Phase 2 of vaccine distribution next Monday, April 5th. This new phase includes eligibility for all New Mexicans 16 years and older to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. NMDOH Secretary Dr. Tracy Collins said in a statement, President Biden directed states to make all adults eligible for the vaccine by May 1st. New Mexico will meet that mark nearly a month early. For more information, you can visit vaccinenm.org to learn about the NMDOH COVID-19 vaccine registration system. Well, Owen, it's been a little bit more calm this week, it seems like, warmer weather, and maybe we're finally entering that spring season.
Well, you're half right and half, well, still right, but I'll explain when we get to the map there. I would never contradict Landry. She's very smart. So you do see, we're looking at what seems to be New Mexico warming up here. We're seeing things in the range of 50 to 60. Las Cruces at 75. You guys are doing great. And in our own local Eastern Plains here, 58 in Clovis, 58 in Portales, and 65 in Roswell. But when we look at the wind speeds here, we're looking at, let me get out of your way here. I'm just going to squat for you. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. That's going to really chill things up. So keep on your jacket when you go out, folks. But anyway, back to you, Landry.
9 people were arrested this last weekend as part of an undercover operation targeting online child predators in Lubbock. The predators were found under Charles Graham, Jesse Mendoza, Jacob Durisu, Shashwat Baral, Roger Sassone, Logan Roundtree, Joey Ellison, Joe Ortiz, and Demetrio Gonzalez. Each face a charge of online solicitation of a minor as a result of the operation. The operation involved an undercover agent posing online as a minor who the men reportedly contacted and arranged to meet for sexual activity. The men were arrested at locations they agreed to meet with the person they believed was a child. The Department of Finance and Administration will administer $170 million for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program for the state of New Mexico and the city of Albuquerque. This assistance is available for those in a lease agreement, and funding is also available for utility assistance and other expenses related to housing costs incurred during COVID-19. Assistance is capped at 15 months and may be dispersed in 3-month increments. You can apply at www.renthelpnm.org beginning April 5th. New Mexico sued the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission on Monday over plans to build a nuclear waste facility in southeastern New Mexico, arguing that the project would endanger residents, the environment, and the economy. Holtec International is seeking a 40-year license to build the complex near Carlsbad. The first phase of the proposed project calls for storing up to 8,680 metric tons of uranium in 500 canisters. Over 6 decades, future expansion could make room for as many as 10,000 canisters of spent nuclear fuel. Some southeastern elected leaders support the project, saying it would bring jobs and revenue, while New Mexico state officials worry that New Mexico will become a permanent dumping ground for nuclear waste. Stay tuned for weather with Owen after the break, but first, here's a look at today's financial market.
Welcome back, folks. Glad to have you back. Let's go ahead and get right into the weather so you guys can start planning your week. So, as I mentioned beforehand, but we'll catch some of you up here, we are having some incrementally warmer weather here. We're looking at about 50, upper 50s across the north here. And then in the eastern plains where we are, come on now, maps, there you go. We have 58 in Clovis, 58 in Portales, and 65 in Roswell. So things are looking up. We'll get there eventually. And looking at tonight's lows, we do see that we are still hovering in that 30 range, pretty chilly. Keep that down comforter on your bed. So we're looking at 44 in Albuquerque, 36 in Santa Fe, and 37 in Santa Rosa for the Central Mountains. And then down here in our little slice of heaven, we've got 35 in Clovis, 37 in Portales, and 42 in Roswell. But let's forget about the lows. Let's go ahead. Well, don't forget about them, but moving on into the future. Tomorrow's highs, we are seeing 70s, 60s. Those are my kind of numbers there. 67 in Santa Fe, 69 in Albuquerque, 65 in Santa Rosa. Not bad. We're still in the mid-60s here in the eastern plains, with 65 in Clovis, 65 in Portales, and 67 in Roswell. Always has to be different, never change. But let's go ahead into those 7-day forecasts. So for Roswell, we're seeing some clouds here, and it's going to get up to the 80s on the weekend here. That's something to look forward to. And then for Portales, we have similar story, going to be intermittently cloudy, going from 65 on Thursday, 72 on Friday, and then we're going to be up in those 80s from Saturday onward. That's going to be fantastic, folks. And you know what? I don't want to leave out those other towns. I apologize for leaving those out. Let's go ahead and bring them up. Can we have time for Carlsbad? Oh, I'm sorry, Carlsbad. I just couldn't manage it. I don't have the time. But next week, I'll do a double feature for you guys.
There you go, yeah. Well, and I would like to throw out there, too, that we are still in a bit of a drought season, especially here. So ideally, it would be great if we could see some precipitation pick up here in our state. But do you have anything to throw in there as far as that goes?
Rain, please, rain.
We'll see what happens. Well, thank you, Owen, for the weather update. We'll be right back after this break. New Mexico organizers are planning to have the International Balloon Fiesta this year. Last year, due to the pandemic, the festival was canceled. The event boasts almost 600 balloons and draws hundreds of thousands of spectators from around the globe. This year, they are planning on holding the fiesta October 2nd through October 10th. Fiesta spokesman Tom Garrity said that the board of directors is committed to following the state's public health mandates and will have updates on the status of the event each month. Tickets are to go on sale July 2nd. For more information on this year's Balloon Fiesta, you can visit balloonfiesta.com. With the surge of migrant children in U.S. border facilities, the Biden administration is looking at New Mexico to help house and feed children. A camp in Glorieta, New Mexico stated on their website they have been asked by the White House and U.S. Health and Human Services Department to house and feed potentially 2,400 unaccompanied children. Glorieta Camps is operated by a Christian faith-based nonprofit. They are looking for volunteers and donations as they finalize a contract with federal officials. For more information, you can visit glorieta.org. Virgin Galactic rolled out their newest spaceship Tuesday. The company looks to resume test flights this summer at Spaceport America in southern New Mexico. The first powered test was scheduled for December, but due to technical issues, the date has been pushed back to May. That will coincide with the final round of testing for the current generation of spacecraft, which will be the one that takes Virgin Galactic founder Sir Richard Branson to the fringes of space later this year. The company is still aiming for commercial operations to begin next year. A security fence placed around the New Mexico State Capitol in January was dismantled over the weekend. Workers were seen Saturday taking down segments of the chain link fence and loading them onto a trailer. The fence in Santa Fe was guarded by National Guard soldiers and state police officers following the U.S. Capitol riot. The added security cost was $700,000, with over $15,000 spent on renting the fence. The building is traditionally open to the public and lobbyists. Before the pandemic, the Roundhouse was a site for musical performances and field trips. This year, it was a site for COVID-19 testing. There's a lot going on in the sports world, so make sure you stay tuned, and you'll be back with Kiki after the break.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Kitana Sapinga, here to bring you all the latest in local and national sports. A few weeks ago, it was announced that the head softball coach resigned and that an interim head coach will take her place. Well, as of yesterday, Deste Graurock is the interim head coach for Greyhound softball. If that last name sounds familiar to you, it's probably because her husband, Matt Graurock, is the associate athletic director. Deste does have experience as head softball coach, as she led the Southern Virginia University softball program for 4 seasons, from 2010 to 2014. During her 4 seasons there, she had a 30-93 record and had 2 players who were USCAA Honorable Mention All-Americans. From 2007 to 2017, she was a private pitching and skills coach in Virginia, and before that, she was an assistant coach at Valley Catholic High School in Beaverton, Oregon. Eastern Athletics welcomes Deste and is excited to see what she does with the program. Good luck to our Ladyhounds next weekend as they are back on the road to play Oklahoma Christian and Cameron University. With all the weather warming up right now, I would definitely recommend catching a rodeo if you can. Last week, our rodeo program competed at the Ranger College Rodeo, and they did not disappoint. Our women's team finished 4th overall with 140 points. Sul Ross State University came in first with 305 points. Tarleton had 190, and Frank Phillips College had 160. In goat tying, Greyhound Madeline Shower finished in 7 seconds in the first go and 6.9 seconds in the short go, finishing in 3rd place in the short go average. Shea Seymour had 7.1 seconds in both goes, finishing 4th and 5th. In the breakaway roping event, 155 ropers participated, and our Eastern's Amanda Brown split 4th, 5th, and 6th in the first go with a time of 2.1 seconds. Lauren Ann Hopkins split 7th and 8th with a time of 2.2 seconds in the first go. In barrel racing, Trinity Kaiser placed 10th overall with a time of 15.06 seconds. This was a job well done by our Greyhounds. If you want to see them in action, they'll be competing in the Howard College Rodeo in Big Spring, Texas on April 8th, 9th, and 10th. As if there hasn't been a lot of changes in the athletic department already, Eastern New Mexico University's men's soccer team is being discontinued. ENMU's Board of Regents approved this decision at their March meeting. Athletic Director Matt Billings said, "This was a very hard decision for us to make as an athletic department and university as a whole, but was made with the long-term interest of all of our Eastern New Mexico students in mind." The program began in 2014 and came a long way. During the 2019 season, the team had the most season wins in program history with a record of 12-5-1. Over the past 16 seasons, the program had a record of 75-134-35. All student athletes will still be awarded their athletic scholarships should they choose to stay at Eastern New Mexico. Those who decide to transfer will have guidance during the transfer process. With Coach Lee leaving earlier this month, Coach Zyder resigning a few weeks ago, and now the soccer team is discontinued, I wonder what is in store for these programs. I hope that all these big changes mean that something great is to come. I feel like this month just flew by. I can't believe that we're already down to the Final Four in March Madness. In case you haven't been keeping up, the Final Four teams left in the men's tournament are Houston, Baylor, Gonzaga, and UCLA, who just stamped their ticket last night as they upset the #1 seed overall, Michigan. This is UCLA's first time in the Final Four since 2008. The Bruins had a slow start offensively as they were down 11-4 halfway into the first half. but sophomore guard Johnny Juzang scored the next 12 points with some additional free throws from Jaime Jaquez Jr., now making the score 18-17. With a minute left before halftime, Tiger Campbell hit a three-pointer, giving the Bruins a 4-point lead, 27-23. Even though UCLA's offense struggled in the beginning, their defense is what forced Michigan to give 9 turnovers in just 20 minutes. Coming out of halftime, the Bruins scored 7 more points, now making their lead 34-25, but the Wolverines eventually retook the lead 43-42 with 7 minutes left. Like I said, the Bruins defense was on point and they held Michigan without a field goal until about 5 minutes left of the game. Jules Bernard, junior guard for the Bruins, came through with the jumper, securing UCLA's lead for good. And finally, with just over a minute left, Juzang scored the final basket for the Bruins, leaving the final score at 51-49, sending UCLA to the Final Four and Michigan on a long flight home. This upset couldn't have came at a better time. The new #1 seed overall is Gonzaga, who will be playing UCLA on Saturday, while Houston and Baylor will go head-to-head to see who will be in the championship. The Final Four in the women's tournament is the University of Arizona, UConn, Stanford, and South Carolina. When I look at these 4 teams, my money's on UConn. This is their 13th time in the Final Four, and their program has always been top tier, with freshman guard Paige Buchers at the forefront. I was honestly sad to see the University of Oregon lose because with all the advocating they did for women's basketball programs, they gained a lot of attention, and their program too has always been at an elite level and has produced some pros, one who's very well known in the community like Sabrina Ionescu. The women's Final Four games are on Friday with Arizona and UConn and Stanford and South Carolina. Best of luck to all the remaining athletes and coaches, and thank you to all the teams for their hard work this season and for putting on a show. March Madness has always been a fun tournament to watch thanks to the competitive athletes and coaches. There's a lot going on in high school sports right now. Some local teams are making big moves in the last games of their season. Tonight, I want to bring you some of the highlights from Monday night's volleyball quarterfinal matchup between Texaco and Estancia.
Texaco came out as the #1 seed in 2A with a record of 12-1, while Estancia is at the 8th seed with a record of 9-6. The Wolverines get it going early as there's a set and a kill that can't be dug. That's number 11, Claire McDaniel with the kill. The Bears will respond here as number 12, Samantha Hernandez, fires a tough serve and gets the ace. As the ball is sent over, the Wolverines use this out-of-play ball to their advantage. That's Rachel Phipps, who finds the hole and gets the point. It's a textbook play from Texaco on this next play. A perfect pass and set gives number 8, Sydney Muse, the kill. The Bears are out of sync here, but no worries, as it's in play for Texaco, but a battle at the net gives Hernandez an easy shot and the point. However, it's not enough as the Wolverines come out on top at 25-12. Texaco starting off strong in this next set as number 1, Rachel Phipps, gets the ace. She'll go on a run and add on 5 more for the Wolverines early on. The Bears finally getting a side out on this next rally. Another battle at the net sets up Hernandez to find the hole and get the point. Another textbook play from Texaco, and it's setter Riley Warback who gets it perfect for Jalissa Harrison, who gets the kill. The Bears want to respond with their own perfect pass and set, and it's number 18, Martina Lucero, who gets the kill. We don't see Texaco out of sync very much, but no worries as Phipps gets the ball in her control and puts it down. Here, Estancia makes the mistake of sending a free ball over to McDaniel. She adds another point on for Texaco. For the last play of the second set, it's a weak side kill from number 14, Annika Duma, who puts Texaco on top with a score of 25-10. The Wolverines come out swinging in the third. It's Phipps on the weak side who gets the kill. After a serve from Rohrback, the Bears come out swinging back, and it's number 10, Samantha Valencia, who breaks through 2 blockers for the kill. Midway through the third, the Bears close the gap at 15-11. The Wolverines trying to finish off this set, but a swing from the middle comes flying back and they just can't cover the block. It's game point now, and Phipps decides to give it her all, and she does. The ace puts Texaco at the top for a 3-0 victory over Estancia. The final score was 25-18.
The Wolverines advanced to the semifinal matchup, and that kicked off this evening at 5 p.m. against Mescalero Apache. That is all the sports I have for you today. Make sure to stay tuned for Landry at the desk after this break.
Well, we have one more weather update before we head out this evening. And Owen, it looks like we have Carlsbad's 7-day forecast up finally.
I would never forget about you guys. This is for you, Carlsbad. You're looking to be consistent with the rest of us here, starting at 67, going into 77 on Friday, and then you're looking at 80s up to 90s starting next week. Summer's coming early for you, Carlsbad. Be ready.
Definitely. Well, that is all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back here on Friday. Make sure you have a great rest of your evening.